listen closely. The phrase you just heard is not a slogan, it is an invitation. Grow through what you go through. Imagine that as a quiet declaration you make to yourself the moment the sun catches the horizon of a hard night. It is not about pretending pain doesn't exist. It is about learning to let pain teach you, to let it become fertilizer for the hearts you are growing. Right now, wherever you are, take a slow breath and feel permission settle into your chest. You are allowed to be hurt and to be becoming at the same time. You are part of a shared story where wounds become wisdom and setbacks are the architects of new strength. Hold that thought like a small bright flame, tend it, and watch how it changes the dark. Let this be the spark that opens the path ahead. The invitation includes permission. You may ache, you may falter, and yet you can still move forward. When we allow feelings their full presence, they stop masquerading as enemies and become teachers. Picture a valley where rain falls. Without the rain, the valley would never hold the lakes that mirror the sky. Your emotions carve out sacred spaces in your life where seeds of insight can take root. This is not a promise of speed or ease. It is a promise of transformation through steady attention. So name what weighs on you, say it aloud, or write it down. Let the voice that names the pain be the same voice that will one day name the lesson. Keep that voice close as we step deeper into the story. You are not traveling this road alone. Even when silence feels heavy, breath is company, steady, faithful, and brave. Community can be a breath widened. Friends who listen, strangers who leave notes that land like soft rain. Lean into the simple practices that hold you. A walk, a call, a quiet journal. Each small act accumulates into a resilience that looks ordinary from the outside and heroic from within. Let your breath remind you there is rhythm in recovery, and that growth often arrives in small, habitual movements. Keep breathing and come with me as we trace how resilience is learned and not invented. Most of us carry things we never labeled. They live under the day-to-day, shaping reactions and coloring choices. To grow through what you go through, you must excavate. This is not excavation by force, it's excavation by curiosity. Ask, what patterns repeat? Where does my energy go when I feel unsafe? Which small decisions are really echoes of old hurts? When you name what remains, you create space between the impulse and the response. That space is where power lives. You will begin to notice threads, old beliefs, relationships, or fears, and once noticed, they can be rewoven into new stories. Let that noticing lead you to the next step. Loss has its own dialect: grief, anger, bewilderment. Learning that language means you can understand what your heart is asking for. Maybe it asks for rest, maybe for boundaries, sometimes for forgiveness of others or yourself. Translating these messages is a skill worth practicing. When you treat loss like a message and not a sentence, you begin to hear the possibilities hidden inside. This turns mourning into a map. Keep listening. The room you are building from these lessons will someday shelter a wiser you. Growth rarely arrives as a single declaration. It comes through repetition, a conversation that goes differently, a boundary practiced calmly, a morning you keep because you promised yourself you would. Picture hands planting bulbs in deep soil. You can't force the spring, but the hands prepare the earth. Your small, consistent actions, shows up, speaks up, rests, are the hands. Over time, those simple practices form a root system capable of weathering storms. Carry with you the trust that small work done faithfully is the quiet architecture of resilience. And now, follow that trust into a brighter reckoning. There is a moment when the storm lifts and everything looks different only because you have changed. The terrain is the same, but you are not. That is the power of growing through your passages. The external may remain challenging, yet your inner capacity becomes firmer, more expansive. This is not an instant miracle. It is the sum of the small changes you made when no one watched. It is every time you chose curiosity over reaction and courage over comfort. Feel that shift in your shoulders, how much lighter they might be. Hold on to that sensation because it will carry you into the highest part of this journey. When you grow through what you go through, you learn to craft meaning from pain instead of building excuses out of it. This is a radical reorientation. Pain is honored, and from it we construct purpose. Perhaps your struggle becomes a reason to help someone else, to start a practice, to change a pattern. Meaning isn't a neat story that erases hurt. It's a lens that makes the hurt intelligible and useful. Use this lens to turn raw experience into compassionate action. Let this be the pulse that lifts your heart toward purpose as we approach the peak. You are part of a lineage of people who have turned hardship into fuel for change. Picture hands reaching across time, artists, parents, neighbors, strangers, each adding a plank to a bridge. When one of us grows, the bridge becomes wider for the next traveler. Your story, shared with humility, becomes a light for others. This is the collective rising, a community stitched together by resilience, each thread woven from personal trial. Know that your growth is not isolation, it is contribution. Step forward now, full of that knowledge, as we crest toward the high point of this reflection. Now, imagine speaking a new vocabulary to yourself. Not "I survived" as the end, but "I am learning, I am tending, I will continue." Language shapes possibility. When you begin to say the words that honor both the scars and the capacity to grow, you open doors for the future self you are cultivating. Speak to yourself kindly and sharply. Kindness for the wound, clarity for the path. This new vocabulary becomes the map you use to navigate what comes next. Keep these words with you as a compass as we draw this journey to a close. Growth asks you to show up again and again, not perfectly, but honestly. It wants your presence more than your performance. When you show up with openness, you offer the world the truest version of yourself, shaped by struggle and refined by love. Whether you share your story, offer time, or simply hold space for someone, showing up is the engine of communal healing. It's how we turn private lessons into public gifts. Let this be your steady promise, to show up, to continue learning, and to hold others as you would wish to be held. Prepare now to carry this promise outward. Here is the final, clear truth. Growing through what you go through is not a solitary achievement. It is a living practice that connects us. You will stumble. You will surprise yourself. Each time you decide to transform pain into purpose, you expand the circle of possibility for everyone who follows. Remember this life lesson as you leave this moment. Pain can be a teacher, not a sentence. Grow through what you go through. Let it deepen you, teach you, and connect you. If this message moved you, stay with us. Subscribe, to join this collective journey. Share this story to widen the circle and comment below with how you are growing. We will read, listen, and walk alongside you,